has my posts up, but it had no visits whatsoever, which is not likely. There's some sort of error.
Have you contacted them?
No. We have to deal with people.
We're going to have to get over that. Oh, Jesus, anymore? Wow! It's a game to death. Resurrected. Oh, he's a resurrected, I see. Dick Royce. Flame butterfly. Even the skeleton. Dude, what name? Get away from me. Oh, they said by summoning them, that's why. Dr. Fingers. You! I got you. Help me! Help me! Somebody help me! Somebody please help me! Somebody help me! Somebody please help me! My. Deep water blowout. Somebody help me. Get on out of here. kill. Hey, freak. Who's your favorite racer? Dick Trickle. There you go. Dick Trickle.
Did you just stop your game to look that up? Wow, I'm focusing. I need to focus here.
Dick Trickle. Officer Dick Trickle. You, what the fuck? Damn. Somebody stop that man. Picked up. Dang. Come here. Oh, Lord. Oh, Lordy day. Lost all my fucking souls. Oh, dear. Oh, dearie me. Wait, but I lost all my souls. Oh, my God, motherfucker. Lord have mercy. I heard you lost your souls. Yeah. Sure did.
Arabs?
Arabs.
Liquor to build on top of sand. So that Turkish building ain't long for this world, and I'm putting that on my predication list. Okay, back on the pile. The government's calling back more chickens that they say is contaminated with the chicken curse. Well, I say no good chicken suits me fine. You're too lazy to strangle your own bird. Maybe a week on the privilege straighten you out. All right, time to stand again. That black president's talking about spending a bunch of our money on something's calling wind farms. That hard case is trying his best to tell you and me that they're going to catch the wind so they can use it later. Where's that Chinese woman? Are you showing the pictures of the windmills? Okay, good girl. She's pretty for Chinese. Now let's see what our stockcode has to think about this pie sky nonsense about windmills what ain't even connected with nothing. John Albert, you can sit for a while, but keep your boots on.
Glad to be here, Joe.
Yeah, you talk like a thoroughbred, so talk. Now give it to me sound on the goose. Why is Washington so dead set on putting up those propellers?
Look, here's the straight facts about wind energy. It would require 400,000 turbines to meet the United States electricity needs.
Yeah.
There's enough oil in the continental shelf of the West Coast to reduce our dependency on foreign oil, but the Democrats won't let us go.
Well, we're gonna have to take that oil, turn them windmills over, plant them in the ground, and change them to oil derricks, same as we did in Panama. Ain't that the Simon Cure?
Sure, but we definitely need to open up.
If those foreigners or anybody else don't cotton to it, I got Black Baby here. Show them the Second Amendment.
Right, Joe, it's outrageous. Worst of
All
all,
right, next talk. My telegraph man in the hill just sent me a message on the clicker. Now, I get 100 dozen of these here messages all day, and I can't Gotta steal the little children from the town and make our own army in the hills there.
Well, I would stop short of kidnapping, but I do think that people
You're
should
a
be made
pig
aware.
pansy! You talk about slitting that hog's throat ear to ear, you want to caress it and call it Sweet
That's not a
Sally.
fair assessment, Joe. You're not being
Get
fair.
out of my cabin, Howard. Get before black baby starts a barking.
Thanks for having me, Joe.
He's taking the core little homo sucking at his mama's dick. You stick with us now, because we got a fine jam from the fair. And we're going to stick it to a horse so we don't lose our mind.
John McCain is facing new competition on the campaign trail. Jane Carmichael has details in the War for the White House election analysis bunker. Jane?
Thank you, Andrea. A new third-party presidential candidate is cutting into John McCain's base of support, attracting voters who feel McCain is not grizzled and ornery enough.
Washington drowned in that snake oil salesman, and I'm going to run him out, dadgummit.
Joe Kressbecker, an independent from the Black Hills, officially entered the race for the White House this morning. GOP officials are worried Kressbecker could play a spoiler role similar to Ralph Nader in 2000.
I got a tax plan for you. There goes right now.
Republican voters, 33% said they supported McCain because he was the most cantankerous, disagreeable candidate on the ballot. Now, Kressbecker gives them an even more irascible option.
I like it. He's mad all the time.
McCain is old, but is he old enough?
I'm voting for a man I can imagine drowning a bag of cats.
Now, while McCain says he would refuse to speak to leaders of foreign nations opposing the U.S., Kressbecker has refused to ever speak to a foreigner in his life. He sports a wooden leg from his service in the Spanish-American War, and while McCain has spent the last 20 years in Washington, Kressbecker has been living in a mountain shack with no hot water or indoor plumbing, making him a true Beltway outsider.
Now, Jane, realistically, does Joe Kressbecker have a chance at the White House here?
Well, no, but he's connecting strongly with the conservative base voters McCain needs to win.
They support Kressbecker's stance on the
They
issues?
absolutely do. They feel they're even more antiquated and unhinged than McCain's.
Really?
Yeah, for instance, here's Kressbecker on international trade.
And all our jobs are going to China. Now, if I was president, the only thing be going to China would be missiles.
And here he is stating his position on Iran.
You can't put a bucket over a pig's head. It'll just make him skittish.
Kressbecker also promised to cut Washington red tape by replacing Congress with a horse that stomps once for yes, twice for no.
Well, Jane, thanks for all the information. Now, we attempted to reach Joe Kressbecker for an interview, but when our reporters approached his campaign headquarters, he told them to get off his property and stick his hound dog on them.
Sorry, you could just like going right in your train.
Washington's drowned in that snake oil salesman, and I'm going to run him out. Punch up something sticking up the whole cabin. Must be something in my varmint trap, so let's see what I snagged. You know, long as man's been hunting coons by starlight, he's been looking up and shouting, I want to go on that moon. And we did, 'cause we said we would. But now these space princes are going around demanding all the greenbacks a cow can carry so they can keep gallivanting in their rockets till the sedated spring from the mud. Well, in time, Molly Coddle and her bright pink parasol got ripped off by shitters, made them smell her own business. Now I'm getting joined by Ellie Granderson. She's going to put a feminist scope on these lace kerchief star buggers and give us her lady opinion. Ellie?
Hi, Joe.
You know, it riles me up every time you walk in here, Ellie. You set my blood to dancing with all your pillowy parts.
Oh, stop it, Joe.
Now give it to me, no fimble famble, Ellie. When we start dusting these rocket boys, lily white bottoms with baby bump?
Joe, since the end of the Cold War, NASA has basically functioned as a giveaway to the American aerospace industry, wasting trillions of taxpayer dollars every year on extravagant programs with no tangible
Fine
benefit.
and plum to look at, all the sense of a badger to boot.
Joe,
Now I've been thinking on, I got these three little chickens pecking on my head while saving Nazareth some coin. One, no more building giant space brakes while pissing on the cosmos. Man wants to go to space, can strap on a helmet, climb in the cannon, let the Chinese gunpowder carry him off among the stars.
that's right, Joe. The average manned space mission costs $15 billion.
Enough with your silly experiments selling us a fantasy of plans for rules out water.
Yes, Joe. Joe. Let's help the Americans at home.
Sad freak. You grab some of them green spacemen, slice them head to bread, and let them know it's Joe who done it, if the lady think it's proper.
I think maybe there's a job at NASA for you, Joe.
Well, thank you, Ellie. She's pretty, but she won't be having old Joe, not even on the Bears Mountain. And I'm still betrothed to old Margaret, so let's bring her out. Sorry, Margaret, you know how I get. It's just these skyflies and federals get my blood up, so why can't everything be like it was the Welton County Fair? You remember that? You went and got your ice cream all over my bean coat, and I lost my temper. You didn't deserve what you got. I just gotta live with that for the both of us. That's my cross match. Y'all come back now. Gonna skin a fox in one throat, and you're gonna fancy on it.
Joe Crisbeck. From claim jumpers to politicians to coyotes, the straight shooter that shook up the 2008 presidential race is taking them all on and licking them good.
That's your picture boxes here, and this is a Crisbeck stand. Now, you say professors and high mucky mucks with their lily white hands squatting there talking on some bouquet rope. Well, now Joe Crisbeck's on to the book himself. Now, how'd you like that? That wasn't my idea. Them Hebrews would sign my promissory notes, come to me and said old Joe needed to have a book. And I'm gonna be out on road show for some exhibitions. The first 100 takers getting shavings from my Spanish leg. I never had mule buckets. I got other matters need opining on. Illustrated newspaper said government scientists fixing to put a genetic modifier on taters. Now, I got me a silver tongue here gonna explain what these sorcerers are doing to the taters from Joe's root cells.
Hello, Joe.
Who and what's behind these potato monkey shines?
Well, these scientists are trying to mass-produce potatoes that are more resistant to disease, but they're doing so in potentially dangerous ways that alter their DNA.
Tater disease, what brought
Tater
us
disease.
Irish?
Right. One group even wants to breed a new potato strain using certain strands of human genes.
Oh, did you give a man's inside to a spot?
Right.
First thing you do is start bubbling for revenge.
I think what we should be worried about is the long-term effects of these foods are unknown.
Because I done terrible things to taters, like cutting them, frying them. You give a tater man's constitution, you can bet he's coming to play old Joe to call.
Yes, well, nature's revenge could come in the form of disease
Now you listen
or
to me,
allergens.
taters. I don't know if you grew your ears yet, but if you did, keep this message in them before you come leaping out of Joe's pot. 'Cause I've got my good friend Colonel James Boy right here, same as cut the Chinese.
Look, there isn't a need for conspiracy theories. We've got the facts on our side here.
We're eyeing a squadron of taters and you got gave a mind of a tater.
Joe, please, let me make my point.
You're tater-minded and you're looking to infiltrate old Joe's cabin, but you're too late.
Look.
Now you get out
All
or
right,
I'll
Joe.
slice your tater heart out and fry it up on my
Okay,
grill.
Joe.
Now y'all stay close. You're gonna have my jug band back here and if Jasper don't let me strum the worst part, we're gonna resort.
Joe Crisbeck. From claim jumpers to politicians to coyotes, the straight shooter that shook up.
See, tail end of my sitting talk without talking about the best way to brain an ox head over to Joe's web for all the exclusive continents and what have you. Got all kinds of wares selling too. You get your Congrats t-shirts are about.
Congrats.
Now, I've been thinking on it about all them Mexican Spaniards been caught dead in the American desert. And that seems fellas out there seeking fortune by hustling across the dry lands with nothing to feed on but gold nippers and cactus roots. Got more American than them and these twin boys in Congress. Now, Jody's got Roberto Chavez
Especially when,
sitting on the screen. He's running a support system that'll help these poncho walkers, and I salute him.
Thank you, George. I appreciate you taking up this issue. Because of our faulty policies, immigrants are dying every day.
Back off, a man ain't cooked crisp on the Hellfire Desert. He ought to be left on his own.
All right, Joe. Immigrants are desperate for a better way of life, and will do whatever it takes to
We
get
need the strongest of these crude backward rounds to keep us all alive. See, the ones that come from the Rio Grande, too. There, Joe. You swung that border I got sympathy. I crossed Huron Lake in the barrel myself using hands as paddles. Lived off the carp. What jumped at me? Now, you swum that river, ain't you?
Jode, actually, I was born here.
What you know about hard work? Ain't never swum no river. What kind of man are you, Bartol Chisler?
No, Jode, my parents, they were immigrants, just like many immigrants. They
I say you ain't
deserved
never know the man till you seen his teeth. Show him your teeth. Too many teeth rotten out shows you're dishonest in the mind. You got strong manful teeth, Bartol. I apologize. Close up.
Well, Jode, what America needs is a common sense immigration policy that
Government ought to
separates
stop
the
sniffing
criminals.
Mexicans, start sniffing for coal rep thieving money barons.
We'll never secure our borders with a failed
Now
policy
my
like we have.
Beauregard can sniff the guilt out on a man's hide and he'll start barking like a buckskin in any crime. Hey, come up here, bud. I'll pass this old fella on to you right now, Bartol.
Jode, what America needs is
That's away.
He talked to a dog like I talked to Lulu. He talked to his bloodhound like I talked to Lulu.
I'll pass this old fella on to you right now, Bartol.
Jode, what America needs is
There goes. That's away.
Tune in tomorrow morning to Today Now. We'll look back at Jim's week as a polygamy.
Oh, it's gonna be fun.
What are you trying to do?
Self-food products, the one side they don't have.
Now listen up. I want to have a word with you. If you think taking a self-defense class is going to make you safer, you are dead wrong. And I want to tell you why. Let me paint a little picture for you. You walk into a self-defense class, and a man teaches you how to fight, right? Now, what happens when you walk out of that class? That man who just taught you how to fight now knows every single move in your arsenal. He knows what you would do if he was going to attack you. That's right. If this self...
November 402, did you want to pick up an IFR to Henderson if I could do that?
Yeah, I would take that, last 402.
December 19th, 2015. The busy holiday travel season is in full swing. A 42-year-old, non-instrument rated private pilot pre-flights a Piper Turbo Lance, November 36402, for an afternoon flight from Reed Hillview Airport in San Jose, California, to Henderson Executive in Henderson, Nevada. The 269-hour pilot is familiar with the route, which he's flown 5 times in the previous 2 years. But this is the first time he'll fly it in the Lance, in which he has logged more than 56 hours over the past 6 months. The airplane is IFR certified, but not for flight into known icing, and it has an autopilot that the pilot never received training on, and presumably does not know how to use. The 6-seat airplane has plenty of room for his wife and 3 young kids, ages 9 to 14, though the oxygen system only has 3 cannulas. The pilot checked the weather the night before and received a briefing online before today's flight. VFR conditions are forecast for the departure and arrival airports, but the en route forecast is another story. Airmets for IFR conditions, mountain obscuration, and moderate icing from the freezing level up to 18,000 feet are issued for the route. Unfavorable conditions for anyone, especially a VFR-only pilot with just under 4 hours of instrument training. Also, the area forecast for the San Joaquin Valley, which the pilot plans to cross, calls for a ceiling beginning between 2,000 and 4,000 feet, with cloud tops at 15,000 to 18,000, from the northern valley to the southern Sierra Nevada. Over a large area, visibility is expected to be 3 to 5 miles with mist, and in the southern section of the mountains, light to moderate snow showers. The pilot does not make a call to flight service and files his VFR flight plan electronically. He's planned on departing San Jose at 2 p.m. local time, then heading southeast to avoid the towering Sierra Nevada, with waypoints at Paso Robles Municipal Airport and Meadowsfield Airport in Bakersfield, before flying on to Henderson Executive at a VFR cruising altitude of 13,500 feet. The estimated time en route is 2 hours and 4 minutes. The family of 5 will be visiting their old hometown of Henderson, Nevada, where they are expected at a friend's surprise party this evening, a perfect start to their vacation. Undeterred by the forecast conditions en route, and with 4.5 hours of fuel on board for a 2-hour flight, enough to circumnavigate the weather, the pilot decides to fly anyway. It's 2:35 p.m. when the Lance departs. The beginning of the flight goes smoothly. The pilot contacts NorCal Approach for VFR flight following. During the initial climb, he abandons his original planned altitude of 13,500 feet and requests an altitude of 15,500 feet to stay above the clouds as storms build over central California. Soon after, Lance 402 encounters the forecast weather conditions. At 3:12 p.m., just over half an hour into the flight, the pilot begins an unannounced climb out of 15,500 feet. ATC asks him about the altitude change. The pilot, flying south, responds that he is climbing and will level off at 16,500. But it's not enough altitude. Trying to avoid the clouds, he climbs even higher. And at 3:16, the pilot follows up with a request for 17,500. One of the passengers takes photos of the clouds that now appear all along. Air traffic control has alerted pilots on frequency to bands of precipitation and the potential for airframe icing in the area. Once again, ATC warns pilots of moderate precipitation nearby. In the Lance pilot's case, the weather is directly ahead and on his intended route of flight. The pilot of a Cessna 414 near the Shafter VOR reports to LA Center that the tops are around 18,000 feet. The Lance pilot, now past Paso Robles and flying toward Bakersfield, asks ATC to confirm what he heard.
LA Center, Lance 36402, what was the position of that launch aircraft 55?
And November 402, that traffic is about 1 mile east of the Shafter VOR, flight level 180, and from your position, about 11 o'clock and 30 miles.
Roger, LA Center, just wondering whether or not I could get over to their altitude and clear the clouds.
And November 36402, I am depicting areas of moderate to heavy precipitation from 9 o'clock all the way to about 1 o'clock along your route of flight, extends for about 10 miles.
The pilot asks if the controller happens to know what the bottoms are.
November 402, I don't have any reports on the bottoms. I do have reports of some light rime icing all the way up as high as flight level 190 in southeast of your area.
All right, we're going to deviate to the south to try to go around these and perhaps go through Barstow. Land 402.
November 402.
Another pilot contacts Center to say that the tops in the Palmdale area are at about 21,000 feet. Center then alerts the Lance pilot that weather is in the direction he is heading.
In November 402, some reports, the tops reported around flight level 210 northwest of the Palmdale area, which is 11 o'clock from you and about 4 to 3 miles the direction that you want to head towards.
LA Center, Lance 402, copy. We'll just keep chasing the clouds towards Palmdale.
November 402, roger.
The weather continues to deteriorate, and ATC updates the Lance pilot on conditions.
November 402, depicting areas of moderate precipitation, 11 to about 2 o'clock, extends for about 10 miles along your route of flight, just some small areas.
Roger.
At about 3:50, LA Center offers the pilot an IFR clearance to Henderson. The non-instrument rated private pilot accepts.
November 402, did you want to pick up an IFR to Henderson if I could do that?
Yeah, I would take that, Lance 402.
November 402, what altitude are you requesting?
15,000 is fine, Lance 402.
And November 402, are you ready for your IFR?
Lance 402, ready to copy.
November 402, now clear to the Henderson Airport via direct Hector, Hotel Echo Charlie, direct, Hotel Echo Charlie Victor 21 to Boulder, Bravo Lima Delta direct, maintain 15,000.
The pilot attempts to absorb and execute the IFR clearance. With a mounting workload and no instrument rating, this undoubtedly takes a great deal of mental effort.
Roger, Hector, Hotel Echo Charlie, via Bravo Lima Delta, 15,000, Lance 402.
The IFR clearance is meant to take the pilot east toward Henderson, but the airplane begins to turn north, toward heavier precipitation and IMC conditions. As the pilot attempts to work his clearance, he has to focus attention away from his gauges and unknowingly enters a scenario ripe for spatial disorientation, changing aircraft attitude while looking away from the flight instruments.
November 402, are you turning northbound?
Roger, I just took a heading off of Bakersfield. I'm going to change it to the current assigned IFR.
November 402, November 402, make an immediate...
At this point, Lance 402's flight path has become erratic. The airplane spirals down.
Air traffic control, Lance 402, mayday, mayday, mayday.
In the clouds, very likely disoriented, with insufficient training on how to handle the conditions, the situation rapidly turns tragic.
November 04 Delta, say again?
It's 402 saying mayday, mayday, mayday.
November 402, LA Center.
402, mayday, mayday, mayday.
2 LA Center, Bakersfield Airport is 11 o'clock and 10 miles northwestbound. November 36402, LA Center.
At 3:56 p.m., a final radar target shows Lance 402 at 11,200 feet. ATC still tries to contact the pilot, but there is no response.
November 04 Delta, are you able to see any traffic off your left-hand side? About 10 miles?
Negative, that would be in the clouds. I saw his transponder go off, so that scared me a little bit. November 36402, Bakersfield approach. Contact Bakersfield approach on 1180. November 36402, contact Bakersfield approach 118.8.
November 36402, if you hear LA Center, ident.
The weather isn't good enough for Bakersfield's air support unit to begin a search and rescue operation, and a ground search effort begins instead. In the next hour, 3 special METARs are released, as weather drops to 1.5 mile visibility, and a 200-foot ceiling with mist. At 7:42 p.m., the Kern County Sheriff's Department finds November 36402's high angle of impact